Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. And for this Reseller Friday, I want to talk to you about a common problem in the reselling community that is making many people's reselling businesses not go very well. Now, this particularly involves eBay, but it also applies to other platforms because you can do the same thing on them as well. And it is the ending and relisting fallacy. There's this idea that, if you just end your items and then relist them, you'll get some more sales, and that is true. But the problem is there's a number of bad things that go along with that. From the obvious thing, which is you lose the watchers because you've now ended that item and then you've relisted it. Of course, you didn't use the relist feature, you did a sell similar, and people aren't going to find your item that had it on the watch list. Now, that may not matter, it may matter, but it is definitely not the best thing because you want to have as many watchers as you can, hopefully, for the item. But here's one of the biggest problems is it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't fix why that item didn't sell in the first place. You just ending it and selling similar doesn't fix the problem with that item. Is it the pictures are bad? Is it the title's bad? Is it the item specifics aren't correct? What's going on there? And it could be something very basic. And I'll give you an example. I had an item that somebody asked, why is the shipping so high on it? I'm like, that's weird. It shouldn't be high. And I went and looked at it, and the wrong business policy for shipping on that item was selected. So it was much higher than it should have been. Do you think that that item would have sold faster with a lower shipping cost? Of course. And it did. If I had just ended and sold similar off that item, I wouldn't have fixed the problem and I still wouldn't have got the sale because the shipping was too high. It was a mistake, but it doesn't matter that it's a mistake because no one's going to pay extra for shipping. It looks ridiculous, and so they just move on. Most people aren't even going to tell you, so who knows how many people looked at it, didn't even tell me. Hey, was something wrong with your shipping? Yes, there was, but I didn't know. So you can end an item and sell similar if you fix the item. Maybe the pictures are bad, you add new pictures. Maybe you change the title up. Maybe you do something else in the item specifics because you have the wrong item specifics in there. Maybe you make sure your business policies for shipping are correct. There's a variety of things you can do. Make sure your price is reasonable. The biggest thing, the reason why people aren't selling a lot of times, there's two real things. But one of the main ones, if it's a popular item that people want to buy and there's actually sales for it in history, is the price. The price is too high. But for some items, if they're not that desirable, not that popular, they just take more time to sell. And the price is not even the issue because I've known this because I've had items on deep clearances like 75% off and people still weren't buying them. It just takes time for the right buyer to find that item, and the price is not always the concern in that item. So you don't have to be selling an item for $1 that's worth $20 because it's not going to sell either way. It's just waiting for that right customer to come along that wants that item, and the $20 price might be fine for them. A lower price is not going to be what's convincing them. It's going to be the fact that those people that want that item aren't even looking for it until a certain point. And the price was never the issue that was limiting your sale for that item. So some people are ending and then selling similar items that the reason they're not selling is not because they haven't been ended and sold similar or because there's not some magical thing you need to do to trick the system. There just hasn't been the right customer to come along to buy that item. Of course, that's presuming that your price is in line with the market average. If your price is high, you're not going to probably get the sale as quickly as somebody who's lower, unless there's something different about your item that makes it better and more valuable than the lower priced items. Otherwise, who's going to buy it from you? Why would somebody pay more for the exact same item? Makes no sense. But this fallacy of ending and selling similar, when you're not fixing the items, you're not doing anything to them, you're not perfecting them and making that listing a perfect listing for the right buyer to come along to buy it, it's just a waste of your time. And I'll give you an example. I know somebody who was doing this. They were ending and selling similar over 1,000 items a day in some cases. And they literally have days with 0 sales. And they're not ever recognizing the fact that maybe something they're doing is not working. You know, if you're doing this and you're going the easy way out, listen, the ending and selling simulator is a lazy way of listing. Creating new listings that might get new eyeballs onto your store and onto your listings and might get you more sales is the way to go, obviously. But if you've spent your reselling career buying bad buys, items that aren't going to sell very quickly, items that aren't very valuable, it's going to take you a lot longer to sell stuff. And you got to resort to tricks and, well, maybe I can trick eBay if I end and sell similar. You think eBay doesn't know when you've ended an item and sold similar, even if you're not doing the relist, but just selling similar, and you haven't changed much in it or anything at all? You think they don't know that's the exact same item and they're going to just start all of a sudden giving you super amounts of traffic? They did that in the past. But you think their system isn't catching up with that and realizing it? That's why these people who are ending and selling similar 1,000 items from their store each day and are getting 0 sales in a day. You shouldn't even have a store with 1,000 items and get 0 sales in a day. But this individual in particular has many thousands, almost 20,000, and they're getting 0 sales in a day. I know that it can be hard sometimes to find good inventory. It can be frustrating sometimes to create a listing because it's not fun for most people. But you got to treat your business like a real business. You can't play around with it. You can't look for shortcuts and the cheap out ways of doing stuff. And maybe I can trick eBay's system to give me another sale or two. And so I'll do end and sell similar. Listen, end and sell similar is perfectly fine, and it's great actually if you're correcting the listing. You're fixing it, you're repairing it, you're improving it. That's perfectly fine because that is a new listing. You've fixed the bad old listing and you've made it to where it's more likely to get sold. But if you just blanket ending and selling similar off things that you haven't improved any, you're not going to do very much. And yes, maybe you get a sale or two, but is that really how you want to live your life? Struggling to get a extra sale or two? And the thing is, I'm hearing from people who are doing this, it's not even getting them any sales. It used to in the past. Listen, it did. But you can't keep going by people's information from months ago that they thought it used to work. And how many of those people who really lived and preached ending and selling similar are doing very well? I don't know any of them doing well. Because that kind of cheap and lazy way of trying to get sales just doesn't work anymore. Even if you magically get a sale, and it could be random, especially when you're doing thousands of items, it could just be completely random and have nothing to do with you ending and selling similar. It's just happened to be that when you ended an item and sold similar, that particular person that wanted that particular item happened to be on the website that day and bought it. And it has 0 to do with your ending and selling similar. We don't know. But what I do know is that it's not working for most people today. Even people who used to swear by it, it's not working for them. And I'm just going to tell you, your best bet is to actually run your business like a business. Stop trying to find shortcuts and cheat codes to do things the laziest way possible, and do things the right way. Get more quality items listed. Create your listing properly the first time. Make sure your pictures are quality pictures. Do the basic stuff to run your business the best way possible. And I've talked a lot about eBay in this video, but this applies to all platforms. People do this on Poshmark, they do this on Etsy, they do this on Depop, they do this on Mercari. They have these little tricks. Oh, Mercari, if you deactivate and activate an item, it gives you a boost in search results. List more items. Stop trying to find these little lazy shortcuts. Do the best in your business possible so you can get the most sales. And finding shortcuts and cheat codes to supposedly get you an extra sale or two is not the way to go about it. You want to get your business to having extra 100 sales, an extra 200 sales a day, not an extra sale or two. And the only way you're going to get to that is by listing a lot of high quality items that people want at fair prices so you can get the sales. Listing them in a quality listing with the proper item specifics, good pictures, proper keywords in the title. That's it. you keep doing that, you keep performing at your highest level, you will become a great success in your reselling business. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.